Today I want to talk about Stephen Carr, who announced his transfer to Indiana, and all that's coming up after the bumper.
Don't be cornering me. Hold up. Time. You gotta help me with that corner shit.
What's up, kinfolk? It's RJ Young. I am not on a step mill. Consider hitting the like and subscribe button because I upload a video every single day. It's always college football related, sports related. We have a good time. Today, I want to talk about Stephen Carr, who has announced his transfer that was long suspected to Indiana about a week after, news went that he was into the portal. And he comes out in Indiana. He posts on his IG, lets everybody know on Sunday night. Today is Monday when you are watching this video. But the thing that I thought was most interesting about this is just how productive Stephen Carr has been and how highly touted he was. Now, let's start with they needed to replace their tailback quick, fast, in a hurry. Stevie Scott III ends up going to the NFL draft. Now, that is particularly interesting because check this out. 30 rushing touchdowns. That's fifth with 32 total TDs in Indiana. Now, Indiana ain't exactly, a juggernaut, but you get my point here in just a second. Scott joined running back Anthony Thompson, quarterback Antoine Randall L. as the only Hoosiers to score at least 10 rushing touchdowns in 3 straight seasons. Now, I have a tremendous affinity for Antoine Randall L. because that is a short king absolutely holding it down at quarterback position and was one of my favorite dudes to watch in the limited time that I got to watch him at Indiana because Indiana ain't exactly on national television. I mean, that's just the way that it is. But that was how good Stevie Scott III was, and they want to run the ball and play defense up there at Indiana, where Tom Allen has it coming right along. And then you add the addition of a new coach, right? Now, I'm going to say McCullough, and you're going to know what I'm talking about when I say McCullough. But I need to get into this and just start by saying Stephen Carr figures in a big way. All right, so they added some transfers of note. Handy Anderson, to replace guys like Watt Fillier and others. They also get back Ty Freifogel, who for many people is the best returning wide receiver in the Big Ten. I know Ohio State fans are over here on some fight me. I get all of that. I really do. But since Dalen McCullough has joined the Indiana staff, we've also seen not just those guys, but his son, Dason, who was committed to Ohio State, was probably going to play some linebacker, maybe some safety. We didn't really know. Flipped his commitment to IU, and then he's got another kid in Dea who also probably going to end up at Indiana, which we all thought was probably the case just as soon as McCullough took that job at Indiana. But crucially here, Dalen McCullough was the running backs coach at USC when Stephen Carr was a freshman at USC, part of that 2017 class. Now, there are only 3 5-star tailbacks in the 2017 class. The first one is Najee Harris, who was a first-round draft pick to the Pittsburgh Steelers. The second one is Cam Akers, who ended up getting drafted by the Los Angeles Rams, and I thought would have had a much better career if things didn't just go off the deep end over there at Florida State. Then there's Stephen Carr, who showed up to SC and was immediately productive, like 264 carries, over 1,300 yards, averaging about 7.4 yards per carry. A legitimate bell cow back. But since they got Keontae Ingram coming in, he waited until the spring was over to announce his transfer and go. Now, how you feel about Vevay is not really factoring in for me because Marquise Stepp and Stephen Carr have both transferred out, which is to say there's been some moving and shaking in that running backs room. But the guys that are ranked behind Stephen Carr include DeAndre Swift, who was damn good at Georgia, Ty Chandler, who I expect to turn up at North Carolina just like he was turned up at Tennessee. Eno Benjamin was a bell cow back for Arizona State and one of the best tailbacks in the country 2019. And then Zaquandre White, we would have thought it would have went better for him. Brian Robinson is probably going to be a dude that people talk about in the first round next year. He's going to be the starter at tailback for Alabama. And then on down the line, you can keep going here. Trey Sermon at number 12, Kylan Hill at number 14, Travis Etienne at number 15, and Kennedy Brooks at number 16. We'll just leave it there just so you get a better sense of how good Stephen Carr can be, because we're really talking about a guy that was only starting to reach his potential and really needed more carries. And he was dynamic catching the ball out of the backfield at SC as well. I like to think that if they get Michael Penix Jr. back in the way that I think Miami's going to get De'Aaron King back from that injury, they're going to be right there. The Big Ten East, for me, is the second best division in all of football, right? Behind the SEC West. Because when you take a look at Ohio State, Indiana, Michigan, Michigan State, Penn State, and Rutgers, you can see how, it's tough through there because Rutgers is actually raising the floor on that thing with the way they have been recruiting. As a matter of fact, I'm going to go ahead and take a look at this since we're here because I think Rutgers is ranked at number 10 in the team rankings presently in 2022. Yes, they are sitting at 11 commits, ranked number 10 in May 2022. Now, that's going to change a lot by August, but still, you would have never thought that Rutgers would be anywhere near this number of 10 in May. June, July, August, September, any month of the year, quite honestly. Greg Schiano is out there making it happen both in the portal and in high school. And just since we're here, at number 9, you got Florida State. Number 8, you got Texas. Number 7 is Texas A&M. Number 6 is Penn State. Number 5 is Oklahoma, though Raleek Brown is giving some OU fans the willies. I think it's going to be fine. Notre Dame at 4, LSU at 3, Ohio State at 2, and Georgia at 1, right? So you can already see just how stacked that division is going to be, let alone the Big Ten, though it's really Ohio State's conference until further, till somebody knocks them off. I say till further notice, but like it's going to have to be a Northwestern with an offense or Wisconsin with an offense. Like Wisconsin with Jonathan Taylor, I thought had a shot because like they scared Ohio State the first half and then they got shut down. But that's what it's going to take coming out of there. I don't know that Minnesota, Iowa, Wisconsin have the goods to do that. And we're going to see what Northwestern is made of with a brand new defense coordinator because their man Mike was doing the Lord's work. But Brandon Joseph is that dude. And you already know that Greg Newsome II is really, really good as well. So I think Indiana got better. I think Dalen McCullough is already making his presence felt, first with his kids, now with Stephen Carr. So for me, you're talking about a dude that could end up, depending on how you see Dason McCullough, 2 5-star gets inside of 2 months, really? Maybe Stephen Carr does not have the sort of career at Indiana that he might have had at SC, but then again, if he is the dude that I think he can be, and Indiana becomes basically a Big Ten East version of Wisconsin, you're going to see him at the forefront of that. I would expect him to get 150, 200 carries next year, and if they're fully healthy and they're playing defense like they were playing defense last year, they are going to be a tremendously tough out. All right. For those of y'all that don't know, I'm on Twitch. I haven't gotten very good at it. I should probably talk more. Still figuring out how things work in there. Like I play mobile games, I play Destiny and whatnot. And we're up to about 130 followers over there. And I appreciate you because, I'm just showing up and playing video games. I'm not ninja or anything. But I appreciate you. And thank you so much for that. Also, shout out to KCB Gaming, who was very cool in being one of the first dudes there. All right. That's it for me. Deuces.